Lost in Space follows the story of the Robinson family who flee Earth along with other colonists in order to start a new society in the far reaches of the galaxy. After disaster, the family finds themselves crash landing on an alien planet where they struggle to survive its many dangers. And if anyone knows anything about danger, it would be Lost in Space.
Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
Danger, Will Robinson.
I watched a lot of the original Lost in Space show when I was younger. Yes, it was released over 50 years ago in 1965, but when I was a kid, the Sci-Fi Channel relied heavily on reruns of shows like this. I always thought it was a fun show that you could watch with the family. The film adaptation released in 1998, that was pretty awful and strayed so far from the source material. The only thing that the film and the show had in common was the names of the characters. So when I heard a new show was coming to Netflix called Lost in Space, I wasn't sure what to think about it. Netflix has put out a lot of quality shows, but I wasn't sure they could capture the family-friendly sci-fi fun that'd be essential to making Lost in Space a successful retelling of that 1965 series, which in and of itself was based on the 1960 Disney film Swiss Family Robinson, which is in turn based on the 1812 novel of the same name. There's a lot of history here. So how does this 2018 series fare given all of that? Pretty well, actually. The very first episode throws us right into the crash landing and tells some of the essential backstory of the characters throughout the season through flashbacks. These aren't like the flashbacks from Lost or anything. They are brief flashbacks that give us some insight into the family dynamics we witness in episode 1. They add to the story, but they never take you out of what is happening presently with the family, and that's important. If you're new to my channel, I always do spoiler reviews unless I specifically say that they're spoiler reviews in the title. This is spoiler free. Here are 3 things that Lost in Space nails, making a standout series compared to a lot of the other shows being released today. Number 1, family. In all iterations of the Robinson family, the focus should always be on the family. In today's age, there are very few stories about functional families, families that stick together, families that support and take care of each other. Yeah, it's kind of sappy to say, but it's really nice to see that here. It's not that the family is perfect, because it isn't, and there are things that are worked out between them throughout season 1. Some great casting choices and good writing make you believe that this is a real family. I can't say enough good things about all the actors here as well. Will Robinson is played by Maxwell Jenkins in a make-or-break role. Mina Sunwell is Penny, and Taylor Russell as Judy. Kid actors can be a mixed bag sometimes, but all 3 are really good, even though Russell's actually 23. Yeah, I had to Google that. The dad and mom are really great. I love the reimagining of Don West here and how he fits in the family dynamic. Really, everyone here is really good. Number 2, survival. The Robinson family's struggle to survive in harsh conditions is where the action is. It's not about shootouts and fistfights. The action needs to be about man versus nature and not man versus man. The man versus nature concept in entertainment isn't all that common anymore, to be perfectly honest. Maybe creators think people don't find it interesting, or they just find it easier to do man versus man stories. Whatever the case, I'm happy to say that Lost in Space maintains its focus on nature. The struggle to survive the unknown is where the majority of the action comes from. The planet becomes its own character as the Robinson family struggle to survive its many unknown treacheries. Number 3, effects. Solid effects and sets are what make everything in this story believable. If something looks fake or off, it can take you out of the world they are building. Without good effects, you can't buy the struggle of the family. The effects here are really well done, especially for a television show. The opening episode is more cinematic than a lot of things I've seen on the big screen recently, and that is due to some good direction and solid effects. So the family, survival, and effects are getting big check marks here from me. The weak points in the series mostly come from Dr. Smith. In the 1965 series, Dr. Smith was like this slimy guy who caused a lot of trouble for the Robinsons. But there were episodes in which he demonstrated that he did actually care about the Robinson family. Now, this version of Dr. Smith has none of those redeeming moments here in season 1. Every single move she makes is in service to her own survival, and even that doesn't make much sense at times. Her character is just a habitual liar and a seeming psychopath. There is nothing that allows you to relate to this character, in any kind of way, and instead of coming across as an actual villain, she comes across as a major annoyance. And every time she's on screen, you just want to punch her in the face. If that's what they were going for, they nailed it, because I really wanted to punch her in the face. I personally think Dr. Smith needed to be much more fleshed out in order for us to see anything redeemable in her character and make us care about her in any kind of way. In the end, Lost in Space is a very good family-friendly sci-fi adventure series that recaptures and updates the series. There are some pacing issues at times, and there's definitely a villain problem. But good characters and a story focused on survival make this one worth checking out. I'm going to go ahead and give Lost in Space 8 robots out of 10.